giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the Akim out there doing the work of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai in truth, faith, and in sincerity. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. All right, and I'd just like to speak from these passages here, mainly verse 10, all right, and try to articulate some of the thoughts that I was having, because as we see the state of the world today and the evils that are taking place, and when you think about it, at the root of all of it is the love of money. All right, because big banking runs the world. And we know from reading, I'm going to jump over real quick to Jeremiah 51. And when you go into Jeremiah 51, it tells you about how the nations are mad. All right, and we'll read that here, starting at verse 6. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. And see, this was Jeremiah prophesying back then. All right. Now we felt the Lord's vengeance in ancient Babylon as the southern kingdom went into Babylonian captivity. But this also is was a prophecy for the days that we are in right now. The Lord's vengeance is going to come down, as the book of Revelation states. He's going to pour it out without mixture, which has never been done as far as modern humanity has known it. All right, he poured it out in the time of the flood, which in Revelation is known as well, that was the first death. And the book of Revelation speaks about the second death, and that's getting ready to come with the destruction by fire. All right, the whole world is getting ready to go up in flames. And when I say the whole world, not literally the entire world, but a good majority of the earth is going to be scorched with fire because of the wickedness and the abominations that's been taking place in this world. So we are in this time of the Lord's vengeance. And it says he will render unto her, being Babylon. Her is Babylon, which is, you will know today as America. All right, so he will render unto her, America, a recompense. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, and just to speak on um, just some of the three main, because when you talk about the wine here is in reference to doctrines, ideologies, philosophies, all right, belief systems. And they come in three major forms out of America, all right? One being Catholicism, all right? And I'm referencing the three city states, all right? So you got Vatican Rome, which pushes Catholicism, which is what? Catholicism is global. And you have the U.S. military, which was what is global. The United States military is global. I forget how many military bases are worldwide, but the U.S. military is all over the globe as well. And what they do is enforce the Babylonian ways, doctrines, and ideologies, okay, by way of the sword. And what we're talking about here, the third part of that three city state is uh, out of London, and that's the banking system, all right, which The fleeting world reserve currency, or the dying world reserve currency, is the U.S. dollar. All right, and it's under the philosophy, for lack of a better term, of fractional reserve banking. Okay, so in essence, it's a system of death, not death, but depth. All right, and every U.S. dollar that's printed and issued is issued upon usury with usury attached to it. But the U.S. dollar, it still is, but it is losing that status of global reserve currency. So it's worldwide. And so we're talking about the love of money. And so this dollar is a part of the wine that's coming out of America, a major part that has all of these countries mad. This is why BRICS is on the rise. This is why you got outside of the BRICS nations, BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. You got 23 countries looking to get in. Is really more than that. But you got 23 countries that have applied to join the BRICS and are in the process of joining. And what was the major one? It was one, but this is causing the death of the dollar. This is one reason why you're seeing runaway inflation here in America. Okay, but right, that the dollar as a philosophy of federal, well, not federal, but as a philosophy of I just called it fractional reserve banking, has put the entire world in debt. Okay, and this is why I say the last decade, give or take a few years, but in that time span, the Chinese and the Russians have been doing all that they can to get their hands on as much gold as they can, because their aim was to get away from the dollar and issue their own currency with a gold standard, all right, meaning a money backed by gold that they could do trade with, because of that wine coming out of Babylon, okay, which is a wine of the ruling elites, all right, the doctrine of the ruling elites, which that banking system, all right, fractional reserve banking system, is designed to destroy a nation's wealth. And this is why you see things drying up so much here in America. Okay, that system has ran its course. A lot of countries no longer accepting the dollar, and they're looking for alternative measures. And again, this is why BRICS has been, you know, has been a smash hit among these other nations looking to get away or decouple their currency from the dollar. All right. So going back, and just keep in mind, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And we're talking about the root of all evil being the love of money. All right. Now, the brother, I'm glad he had brought it back to my attention in the After Camp Instant Classic. He mentioned the Babylonian money magic. But that's the Rothschilds are all about that. They're all about that. And this is some of the philosophy that they've pushed throughout the world, and is causing countries to pretty much get into a deficit and to fall on hard times. And so the next thing, as Gerald Salente always says, he says, how do you word it? He says, damn it, was it? Well, I know one of the quotes he says, when all else fails, they take you to war. But he listed a specific line of events, and I forget how it's worded. Forgive me for that. But he said at the end of it all, they take you to war. I think it's Cold War, trade wars, and then actual hot war. All right, and the trade wars they just about come to an end. All right. Now going back, all right, First Timothy chapter 6 and 10, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And nowhere else will you find the love of money so prevalent than right here in Babylon, the good old US of A. You know? Um, all right, Salaki for that. Right. The love of money is prevalent here. Think about it. That's like I said, I try to articulate this the best I can. Is some thoughts I was having. Everything that you once loved or may have enjoyed, right, has been destroyed for a love of money. I mean, look at YouTube. YouTube, very platform that I'm on. When it first came out, YouTube was the shit. Man, you can have conversations on the on the side on the comment board. Now they didn't have live, you know, but that would I would say would be the only benefit to YouTube today than YouTube from its inception. But at its inception, it was something for the people. You could speak your mind, you could say how you felt. Well, Google took over, began to what? Monetize shit. And now I really can't stand YouTube because everything is so finicky and prissy and weak, okay? Just all around weak. You got to watch every little thing you say now, you know? But yeah, YouTube first came out, another classic back in the day, '07. Yeah, that was '07. You're a slut. Now that would have got taken down. And it eventually, they did take that page down, but that was because the apostles were just stirring up too much dust. It wasn't because of just any one particular video. It was just that was something that the elite that was a phenomenon. It still is. Okay, the apostles hitting YouTube was a phenomenon, and it just took the world by storm. And the elites, I really want to say, I have no way of knowing. This is my opinion, but I would say, in my opinion, the elite got caught off guard and just said, "Hey, just take it down. All right, just pull it down, the whole page." Okay, and well, brothers woke up. But my point being, you do that now and chant, "You're a slut" to an actual woman, and get into it with a woman, or you're gonna get flagged. Your page will get took down immediately. But money has ruined YouTube. Think about other things that you liked that now it ain't worth a damn. And it's money. Sports, boxing, and boxing might have always, had its moments, but now all of this shit is just money driven. Certain fighters don't want to fight certain fighters because, you know, uh, well, it may not be enough money involved. Or a nigga scared he might lose his title. It just shit ain't the same. Big sponsors, corporate media, big sponsors have destroyed sports. Sports don't have the authenticity that it had from its beginning. And just being able to enjoy the sport of it and who's the actual best. Now it's politics and money involved in everything. Rap is shit now. because of the money. And who is that? Rap might be one of the best examples, all right, because I grew up in that era. And I know when it came out, rap was grassroots, you know, at its inception was Jake just speaking and spitting the social commentary, talking about the struggles and the ills that we as a people, you know, endured. And Jake gravitated around that. Oh shit, brother, you catching hell too? Man, I can identify with that, man. I just lost my job. Shit, my woman just left me. You know, don't push me because I'm close to the edge, you know? And you had other songs. Well, Jake was just telling you how it was from his perspective and you know, in his surroundings, in his hood. All right. In comes uh shit, some of the Jimmy Iovine, some of the some of the names, Leah Cohen, of course, what's his name played this part in it, Russell Simmons. But you had all of these sombrero poquitos who they saw this is a major money making opportunity and they came through and commercialized it and now you have what you have today, a bunch of shit hop. Okay, the love of money, it is definitely the root of all evil. And again, everything you once loved is either the economic agenda behind it or that's pushing it or political. And I just can't wait till the Lord's vengeance, as we just read, comes down on this place because people have erred. Now here, I was reading 1 Timothy 6, and this is Paul's message, right? What the hell is going on with this shit? This is Paul's message to believers. He's actually warning them, all right? Beware of the snare of the love of money. I read it from 9 again, because he said 1 Timothy 6 and 9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. All right? That's what riches are in this world. It's a snare. I mean, because all people to praise LeBron, right? Well, do you know it's an abomination for a man to wear that which is pertaining to a woman, according to Deuteronomy 22 and 5? This is Deuteronomy 22, verse 5. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garments. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy power. Now, I'm sure James Brown, uh, damn it, LeBron James, when he signed that deal, that contract with the Cleveland, whoever they are, but when he signed that contract with Cleveland, he was just probably thinking about securing his family, you know, doing what he loved, making money, getting out there on the court, proving he was the best, and dominating niggas on the court. All right. But he had that love of money. And now what do you see? Social media, this man running around in skirts, donning purses, and all of this abomination. All right, because he developed a love of money. He may have always had it. Okay. But I say develop because at any point in time he could have just said, look, this is too much. you know, and, I'm done. But the love of money told him, man, it's just a dress. You King James, you still, you know, they know you, or you securing your manhood. You King James, man. Just go on and do it and get that, 100 mil, whatever. But this is kind of what Paul is talking about here. You fall into them snares, into them temptations when you're blinded by the bag. Now, the elder Yahshua said chasing the bag is going to lead you to get that MOTB. And when I say MOTB, for those of you who may not know, that's an acronym for what's prophesied in Revelation, the 13th chapter. Again, YouTube sucks, and I I really just can't come out and say it. I probably can and squeeze by with it, but we use the acronym of MOTB just to stay on the safe side. So, um, yeah, they'll have you bending over, wearing dresses, because you got to bow to their God. You have to worship their gods. If they're going to pay you this big bread, you're going to get down with their program. And they're worshipers of Moloch, Baphomet, which is the androgynous demon, which is why they make these dudes do the humiliation rituals of wearing a dress. I mean, how old is that shit? You done seen everybody. Going back to, my younger days coming up, we had Grandmama, Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson would flat run your ass over in the paint. And they had this big ass nigga in the dress. You know, to Charles Barkley, Shaq. Shaq could do any goddamn thing for money. But you got all of these, and well, I just say idols because the younger Jake and even Jake my age and older will look up to these people just because they think they made it in Babylon. And that's their love of money. I see these niggas, it's sickening to me. Because I don't have no love for this man's money. And I despise the shit that these niggas do. And the person that they've become, allowed themselves to become by not having no balls and standing up, being men of integrity and character, and standing up for some type of principles. Uh, a nigga on the street call you a punk or a bitch ass nigga, and you be ready to put him in the grave. The white man tell you to put on a dress for 1 million, 2 million. You don't even have to be that much for a nigga. He can offer you 100 grand, and you'll put on a dress. But this is what it's saying. But they that will be rich fall into temptation. All right. And even let's say you was born into money as a Jake. You know, your old man had it going on or whatever. Then you got to constantly keep up with that money. You got to constantly. The Apocrypha speaks about that. You lose sleep behind that money. Learning about scammers and these crooked banks and there's all kind of shit you gotta worry about because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And at the end of the day, this is what all of this goes back to. That we're all under the wicked. And he's not gonna give you a fair shake. He's not gonna let you enjoy just have money to do what you want to do with it. Because he knows who we are. He knows shit. You got to keep a tight leash on these Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and you Native Americans, because if you give them just a inch of slack, shit. I mean, look at us now. Despite the 500 years of oppression that we've been under, At the end of the day, Jake still be shining. Is you Israelites that really make this, put the sauce on this world, all right? Because we are the salt of the earth. We put the spice in this world. So you think he gonna let these niggas have these multi-millions, hundreds of millions, and in case of some Jake, billions of dollars, and just let them run unchecked? It's not gonna happen that way. It's just not. That's not even smart rulership. All right. So it says, 1 Timothy 6:9, but they that will be rich fall into temptation. There's nowhere around that. And a snare. Everybody that signed these contracts with Esau, he's in there, or they're in his trick bag. And they got to dance to the tune. And if Esau say jump, a nigga better ask how high, because he might fuck around and jump too high. And then you go through the Kanye West, Jamie Foxx, Neo, the baby ritual. You go through that ritual of getting canceled. Okay? And Kanye has been the only nigga I done seen so far that got canceled, and came back. Because most of them niggas immediately get to apologizing and begging, doing the soft shoe and the doing the buck dance. You see? Because Esau got him by the, like they say, the short and curlies. Esau got him by the huevos. You see? And it says, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts. All right? Foolish and hurtful lusts. Right. You begin to take on the characteristics of your paymasters. And that's who he's only going to deal with, people that he knows is going to fold and bow like that. So you begin to become a carbon copy of the wicked. And you'll oppress your own people. And just now Steve Harvey comes to mind. You know, and I don't know if anybody can buck dance better than Steve Harvey. But yeah, fall into many foolish and hurtful lusts. It is it says which drown men in destruction and perdition. They they spew a lot of wickedness from their mouths. People look up to them, so they think just because they got money, this makes them some type of authority on life. Just, not even just economics, but just life in general. Yeah, you need to be like me, cause shit. But you ain't telling the people you pulled your pants down and bent over. You trying to come off as this dude that just got it together, and you just came up on your merit and skill by your discipline, but you came up, okay, prostrating yourself in the worst way. So again, verse 10 says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So when you go back and you say, man, why is there so much suffering in the world? 1 Timothy 6:10 tells you it's because of the love of money and no other reason. All right, the Most High gave this earth over unto the hands of the wicked. That's Job 9:24. And then when you go into Job 30, it tells you that the same man, these elites of the Edomites, the biblical Edomites, that they are the basest of men. They are the lowest of the low of men. Okay? And so this is why uh, there'll be a major discovery of some natural resource. It may be gold, it might be lithium, plutonium, whatever the case may be. And then what? Here he comes. He just invites himself, intrudes and colonizes that land and robs it of its resources. But in the process, he's not just robbing. All right, in the process of that, the people are being heavily oppressed. They're not even getting no benefit from the resources that's on their own land. And this man, you know, he may show up in person. He may show up by the way of a puppet leader. All right, by installing a coup d'état or implementing a coup d'état and installing a puppet leader. And then in turn, that leader will implement politics and policies to where these elite bankers benefit and the people suffer. And this is the MO around the world. Now it's being felt is going on here in America. All right. America's sitting on still an abundance of resources. America has uh shit lakes, if not oceans of petroleum. Shit up in the Dakotas. And it's still oil and stuff off of the shores in the Gulf. All right, but they're telling us we need to cut back on this, cut back on that. Well, that's just the beginning. That is just the beginning. So you got people now suffering here in America, and America's still sitting on a vast, wealth of mineral resources. They just found some lithium in one of the states. I want to say lithium. Don't quote me on that, but there's been a discovery of some resource that's needed for the new technologies that has come about. I want to say lithium, but yeah, as a people, you Babylonians won't see any of that prosperity because just off of the military alone, America should be set. Okay, if the American military is spread thin all over the world, that means those worlds or countries are um, in occupation under the United States. Well, why isn't any of that wealth when you occupy a um, a country, whatever goods or services that they have, or whatever that they export, they could manufacture goods. They may be sitting on a plethora of mineral wealth. Well, you get a cut of that because you um made those people subservient. All right. Anytime your military occupies another land, that means basically you've conquered that land. And so, hey, if you look at the world, well, here in America, if you look at these different states within the states, you sure couldn't tell because a lot of the homeless are ex-military. When you see these tent cities, all right, shouldn't be a tent city nowhere in America, but that's a sign of the times that we're in. And a lot of those people are ex-military that's in them tent cities or homeless, all right, and just flat out homeless. They might not even be able to afford a tent, right? Because Dwight D. Eisenhower warned about the military industrial complex, and that's exactly what it is. And what is that about? The love of money. It's the love of money. All right. And so Paul was telling this to believers to warn them of the lure and the deceptiveness of riches and wealth. And it sure look good though. It sure look good. You wanna drive a nice car and pull that car into a nice garage attached to a nice house. Just we as especially as Israelites, we desire those things. But that comes into denying yourself. As the Lord said, if you want to be his disciple, you deny yourself. And you take up your cross and you follow him daily. It's Luke 9 and 23. Yep, Matthew 16:24 and Mark 8 and 34. So Luke 9 and 23 says, and he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Okay? Because when you get these riches, what comes next with that? Shit, really, you want more. But let's say you're not greedy like that, then you got to take care of them riches to make sure that you don't spend it up. So it becomes an occupation in itself. The money begins to occupy your time, your attention, your focus. That's what money will do. Or I read 24 too. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And that was Paul was explaining in Timothy, to Timothy. But whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. You know, same thing. All right, 1 Timothy 6 and 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which, while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Right? Sorrow comes with money in this kingdom, in this world. All right, because the wicked hold the purse strings. And this is Paul's advice. Verse 11. But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness. He said, fight the good fight of faith. Lay hold on eternal life, whereunto thou art also called, and hast professed a good profession before many witnesses. All right? The best advice you're going to get. Follow after righteousness. All this other shit is illusion. All right? It's glamour. All right? It's just a spectacular spectacle. A spectacular spectacle of illusion. Because half of these people that you think got it going on, really miserable. All right? But they got to keep that image up. So I'm gonna leave it right there, man. I pray that you brothers could receive some edification from this word. And until the next one, Shalom.